Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith here again at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with your weather hazard briefing for Monday, November 25th for southeast Idaho. Areas of snow and slick travel expected today as a storm system impacts our region. I did have a great image picked out here for our title slide, but unfortunately every time we add a picture it breaks. So we're going to have to do without an image here this morning. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Key points here looking over the next few days. Really, we're front-loaded for impacts here. We have our organized storm system moving through today, and then we're going to quiet things down. Doesn't mean we won't see anything going on. We'll talk about that in a sec, but today and into tonight is definitely the period of concern. So we have a shortwave trough and a cold front going to be crossing the region, bringing areas of steady rain and snow, some snow showers today into tonight. Updates for this morning, no changes to our warnings and advisories. I'll show you those again here in just a moment. Also, no significant changes to our storm totals. Most areas came in very close to or maybe an inch lower for some of our eastern highlands compared to what we showed you yesterday morning, but nothing big there. Still expecting winds to stay really light with this system, so our impacts are really going to be slick travel conditions and reduced visibilities directly tied to falling snow. And of course, there's always those few localized little spots here around southeast Idaho where, because of terrain influences, it's normally breezier there than what the overall region might see. So locals who live here know where those spots are, but in general, this system does not have much of any wind with it, which certainly should keep overall blowing and drifting to a minimum, which is excellent news there. We'll touch on Immigration Summit again, probably one of the spots that will pick up some of the worst accumulations and worst snowfall rates, heaviest snowfall rates here out of this storm. And not going to make a big deal of this, but we're seeing some hints that we may see a few heavier convective snow showers this afternoon, maybe one or two of them producing snow squall conditions or brief snow squall conditions with heavy snow and sudden reductions in visibility. I think the best chance of that is going to be west and south of Pocatello, so particularly eastern Magic Valley down into the Raft River region. May see one or two of these this afternoon. Not expected to be a widespread issue for us, but just something we're noticing in some of our guidance this morning. So we'll wrap most of that up tonight. And as we look forward for the next few days, trending colder but quieter. So if we had this discussion here about 48 hours ago, I would have told you with a little more optimism that we're going to have a big ridge of high pressure coming in. We're going to have like a week of dry weather. May not quite be the case. Right now, it looks like southeast Idaho is going to be right on the eastern fringes of this ridge of high pressure coming in off the Pacific. Very close to potential storm track corridor here. So we'll be watching to see if we do get any weak waves or little storm systems trying to ride down the east side of the ridge. Some of those might be able to pull off some snow shower activity or other impacts for us. Nothing terribly organized right now in the model guidance, but can't completely guarantee that things will be dead quiet here over the next week or so, but certainly trending colder and quieter big picture once we get today's system out of here. Cleaned up our weather risk outlook a little bit this morning. Again, we're front loaded with most of our impacts today. Snow for most areas. May see some rain mix in the lower elevations of the eastern Magic Valley, the lower Snake Plain over toward Pocatello, the Raft River region, even places down toward Malta and some of our other southern valleys. It'll be a mix depending on time of day and how close temperatures are to freezing. You can see mention of maybe an isolated snow squall there. Still lighting up the southeast highlands, particularly for Immigration Summit and some nearby spots like Georgetown Summit for some more moderate impacts, some moderate risk from heavier snowfall rates and higher accumulations here. So we have orange. But as we go into Wednesday, we've trimmed back on how much lingering snow I think we're going to see here. Maybe a few showers east of I-15 in our southern highlands, our eastern highlands, and maybe some early morning snow trying to linger in the lower Snake Plain into the South Hills, depending on how quickly this cold front and any associated snow with it gets out of here. But otherwise trending drier for most of the region over the course of the day, and some models actually are quite dry even in the eastern highlands. So I don't think this is going to be terribly widespread. And then right now, not seeing anything organized for Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, except maybe a few snow showers lingering, particularly up in the Island Park region, maybe as far south as Rexburg and Driggs. No changes to our watches, warnings, or advisories this morning. One of our neighboring offices did add this advisory up here for portions of Lemhi County, and you can see in the purple winter weather advisories continue from the Big Hole Mountains down through the Blackfoot Mountains, the Caribou Highlands, and then a winter storm warning. That's a higher level of alert here in the Bear River Range, including Emigration Summit. All of this, again, tied to snowfall. Current satellite loop this morning showing quite a bit of moisture, quite a bit of cloud cover. You can see some of these clouds really streaming in here across the southern highlands. Some of that moisture starting to inch into the Snake Plain as we switch over to the radar loop here as of about 5 a.m. You can see that first organized corridor of precipitation here across the southern highlands starting to move into Burley, where last ob we see here in Burley and Jerome and Twin Falls for that matter are rain, with temperatures just above freezing out in this region. Some of that headed for Pocatello here very shortly, and we'll continue to see this expand here over the course of the morning. Going to continue to start using this product this season, Winter Storm Severity Index. This is kind of similar to it during the warm season. During the summer, we show you the severe weather outlook, or we show you the excessive rainfall outlook for flooding. This particular product looks at all hazards in the winter season. It's looking at ground blizzard potential. It's looking at wind. It's looking at snowfall. It's looking at blowing snow, etc. Putting all of that together into a general map here showing where the greatest impacts may be. Anywhere you see the light blue shading, which is most of the region, except for maybe Burley, expecting at least a chance of some localized winter weather driving conditions because there will be falling snow. And then the areas here across the south and east where you see some yellows and even some oranges there right over Bear River Range and Emigration Summit is where we'll see a better potential for winter driving conditions or some greater hazards there, again, particularly over Emigration Summit and some of the adjacent peaks and highways there. So matching up well with our snowfall forecast and our warnings and advisories this morning. No major impacts expected overall out of this system. High temperatures today. You can see those marginal temperatures here across the eastern Magic Valley into the Raft River region. Some shading here in the valleys down across the south. Those temperatures are going to be quite close to that rain-snow mix. And then mostly snow for the rest of the region with temperatures starting out some places just above freezing, but will be close enough that most of that precipitation will fall as snow. We'll see temperatures closer to freezing during the periods of precipitation today. Let's quickly run through a model simulation of what the radar might look like over the course of the day. This is one of many models we look at. This is not perfect. Every model is a little bit different, but it should give you the general flavor of the trends and timing that we're expecting. And again, I apologize. Another technical difficulty today. Our borders for counties and highways are not loading, unfortunately, on these graphics. So we start out at 6 a.m. here, and this is going to be rain and snow. The color is just precipitation here, but a lot of this will be snow. Some of it will be rain in the lower elevations. You can see the most organized precipitation starting to lift into the eastern Magic Valley and lower Snake Plain and continuing across the southern highlands as we go to 7, 8 a.m., and 9 a.m. You can see that activity continuing to track from west-southwest toward the northeast. Probably we'll see an organized period of precipitation, mixed rain and snow here from the eastern Magic Valley right up the Snake Plain corridor this morning, and then continued snowfall down here across the south. I'm not convinced it'll shut down either. There may continue to be at least some light snow falling here in areas where you don't see echoes on this particular weather model, places like Malad, Rockland, Holbrook, etc. 10 a.m., 11 a.m., noon. Continue to see a general trend off to the east, but quite a bit of snow and snow shower activity out there. Again, some rain mixed in the valleys. As we head into the afternoon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, draw your attention down here to the south and west. You can see some brighter cores here coming out in Nevada, some of that into the eastern Magic Valley, kind of a signal for that down here in the Raft region as well. This is the area where I think we'll have enough instability that we might be able to pull off a heavier burst of snow or a snow squall down across this region. Again, not a widespread threat, but if you see really dark clouds out there or a wall of white coming towards you, maybe one of those days where you want to delay travel, avoid travel for a little bit, and let that heavier snow shower pass through. Could certainly produce some localized travel impacts and very low visibility for a brief period of time. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock this afternoon. Generally, again, working off to the east, we may be trending a little bit drier in general. We may actually be seeing, though, some more organized snow trying to come out of the central mountains here into the Arco Desert. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9. We're only going to 8 o'clock here. This particular model doesn't run out that far. May continue to see some snow filling in across Arco, and some of the models are bringing kind of an organized band of snow, again, down across the I-15 corridor, places like Pocatello, Idaho Falls, and American Falls as we go into this evening, really tied to the cold front that's going to be crossing the region with this system. No big changes again to the storm total snowfall expected through tomorrow morning. You can see those highest amounts, 6 to 12 inches over Immigration, some higher amounts above pass level down there. Generally a 2 to 6 inch snowfall here in the east where we have the winter weather advisory in effect. Maybe lost about an inch here in the forecast for storm totals. Most of the rest of the region, including the central mountains, who are really going to be on the lean side of this system, generally 1 to 2, 2 to 3 inches. But the entire Snake Plain corridor, Eastern Magic Valley, generally looking at 2 inches or less out of this system. And what's the chance that we're going to see significant snowfall out of this? This is the probability of reaching or exceeding 12 inches, and it's not happening, except if you live in the higher elevations here or are recreating in the higher elevations of the Bear River Range, particularly, again, Immigration Summit and points south here in the highest elevations of the mountains there. Some areas may be seeing over a foot of snow in the backcountry. Touch on Immigration Summit here again. Again, this is one of the spots that's going to see some of the heavier snowfall rates, potentially a half an inch an hour or more, with some pretty good reductions in visibility and some of our higher snowfall totals. If you follow Idaho Highway 36 here, starting in Preston over on the left, coming up over Immigration Summit and then down into Montpelier in the Bear River Valley, you can see what our expected snowfall is here over the course of the day into tonight. Again, up to a foot up at the summit, but even places like Mink Creek and then Liberty over here on the east side, certainly expecting several inches of snow, and that may be over a fairly long duration, continually producing some slick travel conditions there on the highway. Again, some other localized spots like Georgetown Summit as well will certainly see some travel impacts out of this system. Looking ahead to Wednesday, again, I think we're trending into really shutting down the snowfall. Some of the models are completely dry. Others do have some snow shower activity here in the south and east. But you can see on the Winter Storm Severity Index, overall impacts are limited to maybe just some winter driving conditions lingering here where you see the blue shading. High temperatures on Wednesday losing a few more degrees. Again, trending a bit colder in northwest flow behind this storm system and cold front. Readings generally topping out here in the upper 20s to low 30s, 37, 36 out in the Twin Falls and Burley area. Of course, warmer as usual there. Thursday, very similar high temperatures expected, fairly quiet conditions other than maybe a stray snow shower up toward Island Park. Friday, no big change in temperatures. Quiet conditions for most of the region. And Saturday, maybe gaining a degree or two into the Treasure Valley and Eastern Magic Valley, but in general, upper 20s to low 30s, still the dominant high temperature forecast here as we head in to the weekend. That's it for your hazard briefing this morning. Questions, comments, or concerns, we're here 24/7. Please feel free to reach out to us, and have a great Tuesday.